What up, everybody? Lonnie here with Charts and Labs. Sorry, it's been a couple days. Kind of had a lot going on with work and the stuff around the holidays. So kind of took a little break. I did make a couple trades, both Christmas Eve and on Friday, the day after, and they weren't the best trades, honestly. They weren't really bad. They ended up being very long, and so I did record them, but I never put them up because I was going to try to edit them out to get the good parts, and I might just leave them raw. So I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna post those, but I figured I would at least talk about them. So before we get going, I just want to remind everybody this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is me just sharing my experiences and the way that I look at things to hopefully give you a little bit of familiarity so that you can make these decisions with your own money in your own way and build your own wealth. So, if you don't know, what I did is Robinhood has a USDC that you're able to transfer to the crypto market. So I kind of did a let's throw in some money, and we're gonna day trade it options, and then we're gonna take our profits every time we hit a milestone, split our profits up and take them in and put it into crypto. And I'm gonna go trade crypto separately, so I build up both a crypto trading account as well as an options trading account, kind of slowly. And I did this a while ago, and I had some good. I had 22% day, and then another 7% day or whatever that was. It gave me a cumulative 48% up, and then I did it again, and I was up 63%. But we tailed off and made two bad trades in a row, and the one really wasn't that bad. Um, the one I entered in, I went way down, and I came back up, and I recovered it, and I ended up being up just ever so slightly. Um, and that was because I overthought it. And a big thing that when you're doing investing into these markets is you have to be very logical and not let your feelings kind of get in there and mess you up. So Monday was good, or Tuesday was good. So it was Wednesday, which was right here. And so Wednesday, the day before Christmas, was a short day. Wednesday right here. Closed at closed at 10:30, I believe. Yep, because we jumped to Friday, right? 9:45, closed at 10. So this 9:45 candle was the closing. So when it had a short day, I wanted to make a momentum play, and I tried to jump in really fast, and I got in, and as you can see, the 630 had a big move, and then we jumped into momentum, and I tried to get into it and ride it, but I didn't cap. I got in late in this range, and it immediately went down, and it went down pretty hard. And on a 0 day option, as soon as you're going the wrong direction, between theta and the other Greek indicators in your options, it tore my call up, and it ended up coming back, and I got out. I think I ended up having like 5 contracts, and I made like $2 on each contract, so I made like $10. But I was down pretty bad, so I wasn't too mad at that. But what was a little bit frustrating is that it took me this to get back to where I made a small profit, and then as soon as I sold, it kind of wicked down again, and I'm like, oh, phew, got out. I'm safe. I made a good play, preserved my capital, and then it ripped, and I was like, ah. Oh. If I would have held and had a little bit more conviction, and I didn't make a bad entry, I would not have been in that position to where I was not able to hold through this positive momentum. So then the same thing kind of happened on Friday, because I wasn't happy with that trade, and it kind of was a stall out to where I didn't really make any money, and I technically lost money because I was holding I had a couple shares of the surf mobility company that Palantir is investing in. And then I had some long dated calls for Intel because I'm waiting for Intel to have some good news going in its direction. So that was how that happened. And then Friday came, and we played Friday for the downside, and we played it right, but we bounced back up, and the same thing kind of happened. And we wanted to play. Let's see, what did I play on Friday? Actually, I thought I played the call. So we go investing. I want to go into account and see my investing history. I don't exactly remember what I played on Friday the 26th. See, I was making a bunch of orders. What is that? So I played the call. I played a call on Friday. So let's stop it. Let's zoom in on my Friday. Oh, I moved that. I didn't mean to. So Friday was here, and I didn't really wait, but I got the call, and I must have got it in here, kind of thing, and we immediately dropped down. Should have got out here, and then we faded down again afterwards. The frustrating part was this chop all day Friday with the full day, and then this late run. So I should have got out here, and I didn't. I think I ended up getting out here for like a 20 or 40% loss. But I was looking for the break. This candle was very strong, and I was just a little bit premature trying to predict the play versus watching the play and letting it happen. So I tried to get a better entry because Wednesday was not as effective as I wanted it to be. So I tried to get a little bit early, and then of course went sideways. There was this wick up that I was in profit briefly, and I wish I would have got out because I think I ended up flashing like 12 or 16% if I remember positive, which was plenty enough to take profit. But again, because Wednesday was was a dud day in my opinion, and I was wanting more out of it, I held, which brought me to come all the way down into here, and then this rebound wasn't good enough, and I was holding, hoping for the break above this, and it shot down again, and then this is where I think I took the exit actually. So I took the exit all the way out here, and then went down, and I looked like I was a genius. It did come up, but this was so late in the day that I don't think I would have actually made any more money waiting. But this was the example of one day I should have separated from this day, and I held on to it trying to make up for it. So then we come in to having a really bad Friday into Monday. Now not only did I have a dud Wednesday, I had a really bad Friday. So now I'm kind of a little bit of pressure trying to make a good play. So I felt like I did a really good setup, and I probably should have paid attention more to the option spread because there was a pretty significant option spread that today was probably going to be low volume and theta was going to eat. So I marked all these zones off from previous to this range, yesterday's close, and I got in on the call. I gave it the full 15 minutes that I waited, because if we come into this, and this is how today was, so I waited the full 15 minutes, and this opened up down here, or I'm sorry, it opened up here, shot straight down, and then came back up and was strong. And I was like, oh, that was a pretty definite bounce and rejection here. And so when this one it closed here and then was opening here, I immediately said, oh, I'm definitely going to play this put all the way back down at least to here. But it moved really quickly, and I was still afraid that the cost of them was going to be too high. And then what was messing me up a little bit was this huge gap from after hours that was created, and I was like, a reject. I mean, it's gonna come in here somewhere. I went back to previous days, thinking that it was gonna bounce here, and it floated around this 621.60, 621.70 zone for a while before completely collapsing. And then I was like, oh, I'm not gonna chase a put. I don't want to chase this downside play forever. I want to play the call on the bounce. And I did do pretty well because I got it, but I got in about here. So as this came down, and then it bounced back up, and then it came down to here, and I was like, man, at this level, it's gonna be it'll be a good recovery. And so I got in this zone, but it failed, went down first, and then as it built all the way up, I was in this area right here. I was at 23% profit, and I was looking at exiting, but I was also looking at a break above this and got a little bit greedy because of my Friday and my Wednesday. Got a little bit too greedy, thinking that if this broke, it was going to test this level or even possibly this gap, at least to this 623 zone. So I got a little bit greedy and held through that 23% profit, broke my rule, and then it reversed down and got into this, and again it wanted to come up, and then it was chopping in here, and then it shot down really bad here, which is where I kind of said something ain't right. There's still high volume, and I went and I looked at the OI and the volume flow on calls, where the interest was, and that gap is still at play above it. And I was like, there's got to be a move coming up here. It's got to at least retest this middle, this previous this line goes all the way back to um, the Monday's kind of high and its open. It wasn't its true open, but it's kind of its high open mark. Um, and so this level was like a magnet, and then it even tested it here and it failed. So I was like, there's got to be another test in there, or even to this halfway point of getting to here. So I sold my shares. I flipped back from a cash account to a margin account so that I can kind of get as much money right away. And I just kind of went all in and averaged down here at the bottom. And it was kind of flat and stagnant, but it was kind of coming up, and then it just ripped right here. So that's where we come into this, and you can see that the day started, I had my little profit, and I actually didn't even think I threw in another $40 just to get a couple more calls. But I got in, I averaged down pretty much right here at the bottom was where I bought more, and it ripped up. And the kind of frustrating part about this is I was using my zones again and my levels, and I was simulating the price of what could be, and I had those calls. I got the average down on those calls all the way down to 0.54 per contract, and um, so originally I was like, I just want to break even. I just want to get out. I'll just set them for 0.55. If it hits, it hits. If not, I'm gonna have to, restart this small account and start fresh, and do some little soul searching because I'm not happy with my entry. Where I had that emotional connection and was influenced by previous days. I'm gonna have to restart once I can break that mindset. And then I checked again, and it was just flying, and I moved the sell price up to 0.66, which would give me 20% profit on it. And so I was doing 0.66 for 20%, and then I went and did my simulations at this zone, and it was kind of saying between 0.78 and 0.84, and I was like, oh, 0.77, that, or 0.75 would be a cool number. It'll get me back up and make up for a lot of what I lost on Friday, and will be a big win. And so I had it set, and as you can see, right at this blue level, as we were in the 5-minute time zone, this candle stalled and closed right here. It wicked above and then it came back down and it closed, and then it stalled and this one started, and at the moment that it went red I sold at 0.6. Of course, right after I sold, within a minute, boom, shot up to the zone that I was wanting it to get to, which was that it ended up being a 0.83 contract. So I almost nailed that high water mark. Of course, it retracted and came all the way back. So I'm very happy that I got that sale. Very happy that I recovered this account. And now what we're positioned in is, because I'm still kind of putting myself on timeout because I was an emotional roller coaster of trading. What I did is, since I was still on the margin account, I actually bought a call for tomorrow already, and I'm not down that much. I bought this one at 115, I think. So I might be down or 110, 115. I don't exactly remember. I can click on it, I guess, and then we can see. 117. I was off. So I'm down a little bit on this. I'm down 10%, but not a big deal. Because if we can get, hypothetically, 623, and we're going to get to, what is today? We're going to open at that. Can you tell? I guess we have to go all the way. My poor dog. So as long as we open up around 623, that call is going to be around $1.40, which will be 20%. So that's kind of my goal, that I'm looking to sell this one right at opening, in that range, on a spike up to retest that 623 zone. And then you'll see also that I bought a ton of, get out of this, I had 3 of these Intel $45 calls for January 16th, and I ended up buying 13 more of them today. Got my average basically to where we're at. Average is 0.15, current price is 0.15, so today I made 5%, but I'm technically flat on this one, but it did run up a little bit at the end. So what happened with Intel today is pretty interesting, because their momentum switched big time towards the end of the day. But we're going to go into the 45-minute. But the going into last week, after the FTC approved NVIDIA's deal to buy Intel stock, Intel's been just really kind of flat and choppy and a little bit on the downside, even though that's pretty good news. They have India deal, they have an Apple deal pretty much locked up. They bought the SambaNova, so their AI is big, and the FTC greenlit NVIDIA for being a major investor in partnership. And the bad news that they tried to play against them was that NVIDIA stopped testing the 18A chips. And it wasn't that they decided that they're not good, it's simply that they stopped testing them. So to me, if the testing phase is over, what if, hypothetically, what if it was actually because it is now going to be into production? It's good enough, or at least to grow. So I thought that was really weird that a stop in testing meant that the price needed to go down, because it's not really that they're done deal. They're still investing in them. They're still talking about using them. They still think that they're a quality product. They just need to make sure that they get the production up to match Taiwan Semi. And as I was just watching Intel throughout the day, with everybody else being kind of down, Intel was kind of fighting and had some positive momentum, especially towards the end of the day. And that's where I said, around here, I was like, you know what? If they're going to have good news now, because today was also the day that since NVIDIA was approved, took them a couple days to fulfill the orders. Today, at the end of the day, was when NVIDIA's purchase of the 214 million shares was going to be finalized. So it's done. So market makers don't have to try to use the dark pool and try to facilitate orders on and off. the books to move the shares in order to get them for NVIDIA to buy them, because they bought them at like $26 a share and the price is at $36 a share. So market makers have to try to facilitate that gap, and I feel like that's why the price was being held down and suppressed. So now that that's all gone, there was huge call order flow coming through, especially late in the day, right at closing for Intel. And so I said, you know what? It's in now. I've liked Intel for a long time. Load me up. And so I've gotten 16 of them. This is totally a hypothetical best case scenario, but just kind of for fun. When Intel and NVIDIA signed their partnership or announced this deal, they went up 30. What did we say that was? It's not going to tell me anymore. 34%, which is right around here, around $49. So you can see how big. Obviously, we're going to go to January 5th, around 10 a.m. NVIDIA is the keynote speaker for the CES in Vegas on January 5th, talking about AI and some consumer product deals and such, which to me is a big potential day for Intel, and any kind of partnership would be absolutely phenomenal. So why not see a 36% day and a $50 price, and wouldn't that be something really cool to make $8,500 on a play off of a $400 account to make $8,400? So totally kind of a shot in a dream. I'm not saying run out and grab that because Intel's going to $50 on the 5th, but there's just been so much good news. Intel's been suppressed for so long. It's a coil wrapped up, ready to run. I see so much potential in Intel, and especially with this NVIDIA deal now. When you look at this on the 1 hour, and we come out here, I think we have to go even longer than that. Let's come out here to the daily. So we see 50 was this previous high back in December of 23. So 2 years ago they were 50. So we could break above that, and in that zone, let me see if I can. I'll do it on TradingView because the chart will just be cleaner because I haven't drawn that. So we're gonna do 1 day. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Just get rid of all of them actually. You don't need any drawings because we're gonna do one together. So we're gonna look at, actually let's go all time. Let's do weekly. Make sure we get this right. So back when this ran up, this is in the 2000, the 99.com bubble. That was this breakdown. So let's get, we don't need to see that. That's scary. But we can see this group right here. Actually, in this group. So let's do a couple of them. We're going to go, Ray, if we're going to go from this group to this group. And we see that touch right there. Let me do one more. I just want to see something. If it comes to this group, we're going to change colors on this one. Bear with me. Blue. I really like that one. So this one touches this one perfectly and that one perfectly. We could do either one of these two, but they don't really line up. So you see how these, I look at these as they line up more multi-touches. Even this one's going to continue through the zone. Should make this one actually be, I'm going to make this one extend just so we can see it, extend line, but I'm going to draw it off of this point and that point. But we see how it comes through this heart right here where the wicks are a little bit tighter. I like how it changed to white. White looks better too. So, so those are kind of some cool lines that we're looking at as we zoom in. This has to now break those. So if we do a ray, let's go from this little trolley to there. Make this one be purple. So we are trying to build up at a pretty steep climb right now, but excited to see that potential. So if we also zoom out here, we're going to go into one more. We're going to look at this 6840. This one looks like it's probably the higher one. And we're just going to cross through this. I think we actually saw 1794 if I remember. So this is the Fibonacci zones. So as we can see that this was an area on the Fibonacci, this is an area on the Fibonacci. So 4366 has to break on this uptrend. And then we're going to see 4973 and then 5837. I wish these lines were a little bit clear. 5846. Sorry. So got some zones to clear and climb through, but if we look at these, they line up really well. It's followed this pattern very cleanly. I'm even going to do this on this one and this one, and we're going to make this one be green, and we're going to get rid, zoom out. I don't like these, how the Fibonacci shades all crazy like that. So we're going to go bam. Actually, we're going to make this one be orange, make this one be white. Then we can get another white one right here for the fib. Right here for the fib. It's just easier to see. I get the shading of the zones and how they work to see. I don't like them. I don't like looking at it that way. So delete that. And now we can see our zones. We can see all the multi-touches right here. So this 4386 is going to be a very strong zone of interest. We have it right here, and you can see that's where we failed on the last attempt to break out. So now climbing up on this weekly, now we're going to go into the daily just to see more regular candles. We can see that this wick went through this gap, and then it's riding that momentum. We like that. We see that the tip of this goes kind of through the heart of these big moves up. So this will be kind of a temporary resistant, but the real resistance is these two, this blue and orange kind of downtrend. And especially if you think that there's going to be a break, the break above it is also going to be in this 43 price range. So this is going to be a lot of resistance, but that resistance and that pressure that's kind of coiled it is going to cause a big move up. And the first big move up is going to be this 49.83 zone, testing that 50. So again, would be really exciting. Would be a big move to happen. And so we did 49.86. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but I would like for it to happen on January 5th. Be a massive move for such a low entry. I'm in it at 16 for $15 a piece. So not a big investment, but $240 to turn into $8,500 it would be a really cool song and dance. You probably see me go buy plenty of crypto after I go out and have a nice big steak dinner. But yep, so that's what happened the last couple days. I will consider putting those videos up, but they're 45-minute to an hour long videos, and I don't know if there was enough excitement in there to warrant watching, unless you want to see me talking about missing in the opportunity, missing my exit, or just taking a bad entry. So Moral of the story. I did save the account. I didn't blow it up, and so I'm still active. I let emotions get into my trading, and it is a weakness that I know I'm working on a little bit because I want to make the bigger wins and bigger plays. So sometimes emotions gets in the way of the logic and being able to stay defiant in my rules. And if you're going to be a trader and you want to do this investing and day trading kind of thing, the I think the biggest key to the success is not learning necessarily the technicals, not learning the zones, not learning the trends and all that stuff. That's teachable and very easy to learn, I feel, if you put a little bit of time in it. But the hardest part is keeping discipline and removing your emotions and making sure that you're logically making the plays. So that's your lesson for today. Stay disciplined, and I hope everybody's out there is still making money. And hopefully we get a big banger with Intel. If not, we're gonna grind it up. Stay disciplined. See you guys.